Thinking about our beautiful aquamarine seas, wondering how we can make money from it without a boat? Pause. Think about it with intentional thought and consider where we go from here. Stay tuned and hear Edvardo Humes' perspective on how to navigate from the blocks of yellow elder to the bridge of a maritime officer in charge. Big shots. Join our co-sponsor, Page Investment Limited, with Dom Dev Enterprises Limited, and our friends from Islandese Realty and D1 Development. Post your questions, like, share, and subscribe. We'll be right back.
Something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles.
Welcome to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. What we think, we become. What we radiate, we attract. And what we imagine, we can achieve. Let's change the narrative 242. This evening, we have a special guest, one of the young folks from our Bahama land, straight from the soil. His name is Edvardo Humes. Welcome, Edvardo.
Thank you. Welcome, Bahamas, and thank you, Dale Knowles, for having me on the show.
Yes, you call me Happy. That's what you normally call me.
I know you was Happy, so all right, okay. Welcome. Thank you, Happy, for having me on the show.
Great, awesome. I'm glad that you were able to find time in your busy schedule to join us.
Yes, sir. Sure. It's always a pleasure to give, inspiring quotes and help other Bahamians know or find new opportunity and new avenue and ways to succeed in this world. So I'm a part of it. Let's get straight to it.
Good. So before we get kicked off, though, we've had two notable deaths and two notable deaths. The first one would be Sir Charles Sir Charles Carter, and the other one would be today. We lost a young student from JHS through some conflict, and so his light on this earth has been outed, and so we just pause and give them a little reverence for their deaths and their contribution, however big and small it might have been. Amen. Thank you all. So, Edvardo, you have been, I mentioned, a young boy who grew up in Yellow Elder, and you are the youngest child of Edward and Dorsie Mae Humes.
Yes, that's
my
correct.
understanding is they are big, well, I shouldn't say big, but firm believers.
Yes.
And so I think you didn't have much choice but to follow a little bit and let some of it at least rub off on you. And we see it in your actions every day in many quarters that we interact with in terms of you sharing with other people. And as you mentioned already on the show, what your goal is always to help uplift and enlighten other people. And particularly if you could get to help the youth, which we are here for. But if I might just say, just a couple of days ago, some people also was trying to out your light, but the good Lord have you here.
Yes.
And so we give him praise for that, for allowing you to be here today.
Yes.
That's a story for another day, but and so forth. So in your growing up now, if people don't know, Yellow Elder would be considered not a plush neighborhood. And so we're talking about a little bit of struggles in the picture, or a lot of struggles. It depends on where in the podium that you fall in that line. But we're not talking about people who sit down and eat caviar and the rest all day long. You might imagine this lovely yacht in the background, but he wasn't born with that in his fingertips, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yes. So we look at that, and so we know we came from the Yellow Welders, and then you were able to join the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers program.
Yes. They
so
helped the program, yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers program is a program that they offer from junior school to senior school, 7 to 12. And they instill discipline. They instill discipline, dedication, and determination. That's the motto of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers. And what those key what those key things do is they help give you the edge. They help give you the fight. They help give you the desire. When everything is falling apart, they help keep it together. And that's what you need, persistence and perseverance. And so getting those values instilled in me from a very young age, I joined the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers in grade 7 at CC Speaking Junior. Throughout that program, it gave me the willpower. It's military. Formed the military background in my life, which ultimately led me from one place to another when it comes to maritime.
Great. So obviously that program has a lot of mentorship in it. So any particular mentors you want to shout out to?
Shout out to Mr. Rowe, Mr. Adderley, Mr. Aubrey, Mr. Duncombe, Senior Lieutenant Duncombe. Ooh, it's a lot of them. Ooh.
Yeah.
Those who know they played, shout out to Dr. Sean Thurston. Those who played a pivotal part in my life in the growing up of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers. Kivalo Smith, definitely Kivalo Smith. Shout out to Kivalo.
Yes, awesome. And so you mentioned CC Sweden, and folks out there, that's a government school.
Yes.
So our government schools have a little bit more volume of persons in it than the private schools and so forth. But you ended up graduating from, where did it go now? Cherub
Christian Academy.
You said it better than me.
Cherub Christian Academy.
So tell us what was that experience coming out of a government school to go to that?
It was different. It was small. Those changes were key changes that my parents made to I guess give me more focus. Having the majority of the classrooms small, or now you have less students, so you have more focus. It also gives you that one-on-one experience with teachers. And so that's what Cherub gave me more of a focus. Because in today's society, we are distracted with so many things. And it's our day-to-day life. Right. And so Cherub gave me that focus point.
Yeah. So it sounds like you well, for me, I was just distracted with baseball and other things like that. Maybe some of the young ladies and what have you, but
I'm going through the same struggles every young man goes through. Yeah. At that age.
Yeah. And so
most men, not all.
Yeah. So coming out of that neighborhood, it sounds like your parents just, as we say in the Bahamas, give you 2 cowboy slap and a backhand and tell you go to Cherub and now you upright soldier on the street.
Yeah, but it all boils back down to discipline and parenting. It all boils back down to discipline. And so they whipped me into shape, and now I'm here. I am so thankful for them.
There you go. Yeah, you got plenty of things to thank people for.
Plenty.
Yeah. So the road isn't easy. And so
Oh,
you had a big dream that you wanted to become a dentist. Any kind of special dentist that you wanted to be?
no, that was just just growing up, just wanted to be a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
I
Who you saw why you wanted to be a dentist? You had to be some.
No, no.
You weren't scared of the drill or nothing when you had.
But it
Everybody.
it was at a really, really young age. That was like
Mhm.
my first. That was like the first thing I could remember. But that faded away really fairly quickly. That faded away fairly quickly.
The dentistry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly quickly.
Wow.
I mean, compared to travel and seeing the world, and shout out to the dentists, they all have an important part to play. But for
Yep.
me, it was more of that exposure
Right.
that
Right.
was out there.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we looked at you as being qualified to come on the show, because what we try to do here at Something to Think About with Dale Knowles is that we want to not just highlight the typical everyday doctor, lawyer, dentist, the typical things that we get sent to school for, coming out of a colonial system where everybody says you have to go to the school to do that, and you have to learn to speak like this, and all of those type of things. So we wanted to highlight opportunities that people could get into, that especially the youth who are being bombarded or badgered to do these highfalutin schooling stuff, academic stuff, and then we only look at it with everybody's complaining, well, the national average is a D, so how you can do that? And so a lot of people are falling on despair or lack of hope that they could survive, and then they end up doing funny things like joining gangs and some other things. And it's not everybody, but they are a good percentage. And so we want people to know that there's a wealth of alternative solutions, of which we can talk about one of them today, right?
Yes.
So like, you talk about your dream to be the dentist that faded away. And so one of the things that you mentioned to me was because y'all didn't have the funds to go off to dentistry school, you were told that you couldn't do that. And then you were asked what next, and then you were given an ultimatum. And the ultimatum, as you would have suggested to me before or said to me before, was between maritime studies, because you gain a love for maritime, which you could say how you got that in a second, or music, because you had some musical talent. So what kind of talents was that? You used to beat the ghost good drum, or on the cup or the bottle, or
the
what are we
cowbell.
talking about? Are we talking about real talent, or are we talking about
The cowbell.
shaking cowbell
yes. I am a volleyball member. I am.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's okay. But
Yeah,
I used to play the musical instrument, the piano. And I did, yes, the piano. And I worked my way up to music theory grade 3. And at that point in time, it was learning the piano, track and field, and Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program. So it was coming towards the ending of 11 and 12.
Yeah, but before you get to the end, you say track and field now. You look like them fellas who stand on the side and look at the girls, man. You were saying you'd be running up and down or jumping up and down on the field or throwing javelin.
Well, I represented the Bahamas in 2008 CARIFTA Games. No, 2007 CARIFTA Games. Yes, silver medalist pole vault. So,
all right, pole vault.
Yes, pole vault. Different.
Way up there. Why you like the extremes now? Nothing easy for you.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, but I could imagine you sitting behind the piano now, all debonair and clean cut and all tuxedoed up and sitting up with shoulders back. And listen, when I was small, my mommy told me the piano teacher, she was supposed to be a concert pianist at one point, and she gave that up in order to born me. But born the 3 children, because she got married. But the teacher sent me home one day and told me to tell my mommy that my fingers were too small. So I would have been probably about 5 or something like that. And, that was bend down, woman, catch a fire type thing happened there. So you could imagine you on the piano and me on the piano with our looks. Boy, what kind of thing do you think that is? What?
Yeah. Ooh, nowadays,
anyway,
that would have been good.
Nowadays, a little bald head, man. Yeah. But seriously though, let's get back to what we're talking about. So at 17, you've been given this ultimatum to do the maritime music. And I think you said that you were good enough in music that people were offering you scholarships. Is that correct? Did I hear you right when you said it? Okay. So tell me, you didn't choose the scholarship route to go the maritime route. And what was the thinking behind that?
Well, at that point in time, the Bahamas Maritime, I was involved in the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program. Okay. And I have actually, Misty Bean. She, at the time, received the scholarship from the BMA to study the officer in charge of navigational watch through California Maritime. Mm-hmm. And that was new. The Bahamas, the BMCC was new. It was a new opportunity. And you get to travel. Once you include travel with me who like to explore, for mm-hmm. me, growing up in the Bahamas, when it comes to music, it's not, for me, it was a better decision to choose maritime. Mm-hmm. And I chose maritime and never looked back. I set my sail and I kept moving forward.
Awesome.
Kept moving forward.
All right. So you mentioned a little bit before in terms of the Rangers and them instilling discipline in you. I know you to be an extremely disciplined person, which is what drew my attention to you, because I know people always say I'm too disciplined, but you also were committed that whenever in another forum that we gave you assignments and the like, we didn't have to worry about whether you were going to do it or the like. You came prepared and you came also ready to help others. So that meant that you did more than what you needed to do. And so I really took pride in knowing that there were other people still coming along who had those attributes within them. And then I got to know you a little better. And we won't talk about all of the things because the show is early and your head might grow too big. But, but excellence was always a big part of your picture. And I attest that, not even meeting your parents before, but just by the mere fact of how you talked about them, that they obviously had a huge part in causing that to happen. So as a marathon cadet, Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program, you would have came in contact with a stately gentleman by the name of Mr. Dudley Martinborough.
Yes.
Who I believe is a friend of mine also, but I believe that he would have become a big mentor of yours.
Huge.
You want to talk a little bit about how you benefited from that program?
Oh, the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program is the reason why me and many other Bahamians, I know I'm speaking, I could speak on behalf of many of them for the experiences that they have gained and the advancement and the contribute that they have made all around the world. Mr. Dudley Martinborough, the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program, now run by Mr. Clay Curtis.
Okay.
He is now in charge. He is in the chair. And they are continuing to give Bahamians, young Bahamians, through the cadet scholarship program, opportunities to enter into this vast field, right. Arguably considered the largest industry in the world. When you think about import, export, 80%, 90% of it is done through ships.
Right. Right. Well, I have a little bit of experience secondhand from that because I wasn't going on no boat for no long period of time. I was glad. My mom used to be associated with, as a part of the management of Burma Oil Transshipment Limited, which might not ring a bell to you because they were formed in about 72 or like.
Oh,
But
I
you
wasn't
might
even a thought. I wasn't even a
exactly.
thought.
But you would know now that the company that is operating the transshipment terminal is called Equinor in
Okay.
Grand Bahama. So that's where Burma Oil started. And so they started a maritime program. And they sent off 2 Bahamians to learn to do all the stuff that you all do.
Okay.
And I think from there it just blossomed. And that was a Bahamian government-owned operation.
Okay.
And they just contracted experts to manage it. And I think that still is the model that is happening now with Bahamas government and Equinor in that place. So there's a long history of maritime history in the Bahamas. And you have a number, like you mentioned, also other maritimers in different avenues. But from your perspective, we talk about Mr. Martinborough and the program that Mr. Bain, you say is the person's name now, who's running it?
Mr. Clay Curtis.
Curtis, right.
Curtis,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did you get off the school to do that, the Holland College of Marine Center? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At the time, in 2008, after graduating in July, 19 of us, 19 Bahamians, went off to Holland College. And for the majority of us, some of us were given half scholarship, partial scholarship, and a few students received, I think a few received the full scholarship, but the majority of it was government assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents also had to come up with the other half. I think at the time, I think it was a total of $10,000. The government gave, I think, half at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have to come up with the other half, and then living and etc.
Cool.
That was at Holland College.
Right.
And once completing that,
so what all kind of studies happened there? This is for just basic.
Oh, this is the basic. This is the standard. This would fall underneath the STCW training, which is the standard training for all seafarers. So if you're working on a boat, there's just key elements that you just need to know. You need to know firefighting. You need to know safety, how to tie ropes, knots. With the as simple as the name of the boat, they teach you basic everything. And the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program prepared me for this international training because a lot of that is what they teach the kids now from 10 to 12.
Okay.
How to calculate, they basically laid the foundation.
So y'all could look at the stars and navigate where you're going? Because I mean, I know my grandfather and the rest of them used to tell us things like that, but I believe they used to just be
astro. Yes, that's astro. That is a part of the training as well. Many calculations involved. Many sites using instruments, sextant, and using the tables. But that's another topic. That's astro. That's a whole new other. That's a whole new other show.
Wow.
That's a whole new other show.
It sounds deep, man. That just sounds like something that a lot of people might want to get interested and might not just know about it. So then we come along, and so you graduated from them in 2008. You're modest, so I know you're some mommy's child, so you're modest. You didn't tell the people that you graduated at the top of the class. So 19 of you all went off. How many was in the program?
Pardon me?
How many was in the program total?
19.
Huh?
19. 19
was at Holland's College.
Holland College, yeah.
Right. So 19 of them, and you came on top of the class.
They had it split though, because when we went off, there's two sides of maritime that we targeted at the time.
Right.
You have the deck department, where you work your way up from a cadet, either AB, OS, third officer, second officer, chief officer, captain, master mariner.
Right.
And then you have the engineering department, where you work your way from oiler, wiper, pumpman, and the motorman, and then you go up to the engineering, fourth engineer, third engineer, second engineer, chief engineer.
Yeah.
So there was
That's
two
probably,
sides. So from
probably
the
the side
deck
I would have
department,
gone.
I graduated from the deck department.
Yeah. Cool. So you could put on them fancy white outfit with all of them tags and badges and stuff on it.
Everyone wears white. Everyone wears white.
Cool. All right. So after that, now you spent about 42 months on the ships at that point in time. 42 months is what, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years almost. So tell us about that experience.
Ooh.
Because that would have been the longest you spent on a ship.
Longest
up until that point? Up to that point?
No, they were not done. They were not done all one time. They were done either contracts 6 months plus or minus one.
Okay.
My longest contract would have been 9 months. 9 months and I think some days. But that experience really opened up my eyes to the world. When you're young and you're given the opportunity to work internationally, to travel and actually contribute to the development of life, transporting cargo. One of the ships, we transported steel to the Panama Canal that they were building. You get to work with different cultures.
So you had to go up and down in that water?
What do you mean?
To the Panama Canal.
Yeah, to the Panama Canal. No, but you're just delivering cargo, steel. So you would pick up steel in South America.
Yeah, but going through the canal, I mean, the experience of you go to the canal, then you gotta stop, then the water gotta rise or go down or something like that.
Yeah, you have locks. Yes, you have locks. Yes, you have locks.
But a lot of people don't know what that is. But they mightn't. That's an experience in itself.
Oh yes. Of course, that's many different experiences going through rivers.
Yeah, tell the people about some of them. Yeah. Get them interested in this thing.
Pictures would best be to describe them, because
we post a lot of pictures on the thing after
sure.
Underneath
sure.
the
definitely
comment sections. Yes.
Because I mean, you could explain what a lock system is, but unless someone understands what a lock system is, it kind of be hard to explain.
Yeah, we don't want them to think we're talking about lock at Fox Hill or nothing like that.
No.
So we're talking about real locks.
No.
All right, so 42 months was done. And then, like you say, on those big, and people, this yacht that you're on here is like what size?
Oh, it's 180 feet.
Okay. And the biggest one ship that you were on was like what size?
144 meters, shy of 1,000 feet, about 244 meters.
That's longer than Nassau. 1,000 feet. Sorry.
Shy than 1,000, just shy of 1,000 feet, 244 meters.
Holy smoke! And you all got to run from the front of that to the back of that sometime?
No, actually, you those ships like that, you would have bikes. You could ride up the deck, or you could walk. Some ships like that, yes.
Sound like you're walking for days.
Suez Max, BLTCs.
Yeah.
Very large crude oil carriers.
So that would have been like a freighter, or that would have been like a
bulk carrier. That would have been bulk carrier, Panamax.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you came back in town. You've been in and out. But when you finished with that 42 months, then you went on to do some more classwork.
Yes. The officer of the watch.
Officer of the watch.
The officer of the watch.
What does that mean?
That gives you the ability to stand the navigational watch on any ship, any size, anywhere in the world.
On the bridge or in the canteen? Okay.
On the bridge.
On the bridge, okay.
The bridge, yeah.
And what you have in the background is the bridge, correct?
Yes, I'm currently in the bridge.
Right. Cool. And so that's the certification you have now, or you have other certifications? Yeah.
Oh, I have a few more certifications other than that. Just recently added,
Wow.
actually.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes.
Higher than
Yeah.
that? Or it doesn't go by highness, it just go when they say, this Bahamian talk now, highness. So,
Yes, essentially, yes. Yes.
okay.
Yes,
All
essentially.
right. Sound like you're keeping that for special day. So we'll leave you alone
Keeping
with
up
that.
for special days. Keeping up for still more work to be done. Still
Okay,
more work
great,
to be
great, great. So that was under the Transport of Canada Maritime
done.
System.
Transport
So,
Canada.
so you mentioned California before. Now you talk about Canada. You talk about the Bahamas. Are these all on the same level, or are they like with engineering? We had in the United States, we had Canada, we had the UK, and sometimes there was always this battle as to whether one recognized the other one and the like and all that kind of stuff. And so,
Same thing going on today.
yeah,
Nothing changed. Look like nothing changed. Same thing going on
wow,
today.
that's 30 some years ago. Anyway, cool. But your certifications is recognized that they you can use those within the systems that are at amity with each other, correct?
Yes. The
Okay.
systems that are at amity with each other,
Mhm.
yes, my qualifications are recognized.
Wow. I guess plenty of people just love to be sitting on that yacht with you on right now. I mean, I know it's plenty weight. Don't mind the prettiness and stuff like people be talking about, but
It's
I'm
plenty
sure
work.
that it's rewarding. The work is rewarding at the end of the day. That you
Yes. 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 Yes.
cool. Okay, so now you have these certifications, and you're currently working on this particular yacht that you're on, 104 feet, you said?
180 feet.
180 feet. That's 2 football fields. No, that's yards. A football
Yeah.
field is yards. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's still big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
55 meters. For those who know metric,
Right.
180 feet.
Right. That is huge. That's bigger than plenty of people yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bigger than
Lengthwise.
mine for sure.
Lengthwise.
Yeah.
Lengthwise.
Yeah. Mhm.
Lengthwise.
Okay, and so that's a private yacht, and so forth. And so y'all traverse the Bahamas and the East Coast and the like, a lot of the time. So that I know that could be fun. Like I say, it's a bunch of hard work, but when you have your downtime, then you can have a lot of fun because you're traveling left, right, and center. How's
Well,
COVID affected that? So you go ahead first. Before we get to that.
ooh,
No, before you go to what you was gonna say.
which one you want me to answer first? Which one? How COVID affected this industry?
No.
Or?
Go. What you was about to say. You say that first. Yeah.
No, I was just going back to saying, when you say hard work, it's if we could understand that when you look around where you are,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are there because of the choices that you've made. If you make decisions to find whatever it is that you're passionate about,
Right.
it wouldn't be work.
Right.
It wouldn't be work. So it is
I
hard work in a sense, but for me, it's not. It's not because once you love what you do, it's not
right.
work.
When I say hard work, I mean it's not like you just push the button, the boat start going, and it go wherever it want to go, and you sit back and drink
Oh
tea
no.
all afternoon. Whilst you still have to engage and do things. So
Oh yes, definitely.
there's calculations and what have you that we go. But guess what? Look at the screen. The mighty one has risen and said to you, go, my son, share your experiences. Boy, you better go home with a bunch of flowers and everything else put in the kitty.
That's mama.
That's your mama.
That's mama.
Good, man. Good. But you really got to big her up now. I don't want to just hear that's mama. You tell me something about your mommy.
Tell you something about my mother?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she. Wow, there's so much. She is loving, caring, very inspirational, very giving. That's where I develop a lot of my qualities from. She is a no-nonsense woman. She tells you the truth, although you don't like to hear it. She is a loving wife, a loving mother. She is my go-to for most of the things, most things. Her and my sister, they're my go-to. Wow, what else? She
You
worked
could
in
say.
insurance. She's a gardener. She's an expert gardener right now.
Mm-hmm.
She has a PhD from the University of YouTube on gardening. And if you see her gardens, you would seriously,
Yeah.
she does not go to the food store for vegetables. She does
There you
not.
go. Sound like somebody I know. We're trying to get. Yeah.
She does with whatever we put our minds to. We blossom. So we got to give God thanks for that, and
Yeah.
that's my mother.
Happy Mother's Day, Ms. Humes. We celebrate on some of the things about Mother's Day all week, not just on the actual day. We give you your honors the whole week, right? And so you have a blessed son here. You did an awesome job. I could speak for that. I could vouch for him in many quarters. Okay, so where we at now? We're coming up onto the break. So let's ask this question before you go. Say, we already mentioned you came from Yellow Elder, not in a plush environment. You struggled through school a little bit. You got mentorship with godly parents.
I didn't struggle through school.
Huh?
I didn't struggle through school.
Not struggling in school, but
struggling through school.
Struggles in school.
No, I didn't struggle in school either.
Okay, you didn't have no struggles then. I don't believe all
I may
boys
have been
have struggles.
distracted.
Huh?
I may have been distracted once or twice, but I didn't struggle through school.
Yeah, but anyway, when I say struggles, maybe I use the wrong word. I take that back. Your Honor, I withdraw that comment.
Please, thank you. Exactly.
Right, because I know you're a smart boy, so that's a different story. But, not like me. But anyway, so yeah, and so now you're poised to rock the world. And so when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some of those things. But tell us if there was any things that you would have been exposed to in your brought-up growing up with boys on the blocks or any other environment that you would have had that you can say to them right now, whilst we at this point, that could inspire them to want to do more with their life than what they're doing.
Okay. Find what you love. Everyone has a gift. Believe it or not, you're always good at something. And it's funny, you may not think that you may be an artist, you may be creative, you may be working with your hands. There's a lot of courses, there's a lot of avenues where your hands make much more than six figures.
Yeah.
They make much more than persons who have the bachelor's and the master's. People working with their hands, they are. Mm-hmm. And so find what it is that inspires you, and whatever you do, just keep working at it. Always try to learn more. Always try to know a particular, become a specialist. Become a specialist. Become a specialist in the area. If you as simple as selling bikes, know all the type of different bikes. Know all the type of different bikes, all the different types of chains, the different markets, the bikes, learn the cities that the bikes are sold in, learn the type of materials different bikes are made. Like do your research. If it's simple as bikes, do your research. You have some bikes selling $3,000. Bicycles that people ride. So
yes, yeah.
Whatever it is, find whatever that is and learn about it. Learn everything about it. Learn and then try to figure out what's gonna happen 5, 10, 15 years from now in that same environment, and start working on for progress. This comes with time, but for just starters, find whatever it is you like to do and build. Everything great takes time. Everything great takes time.
Yes. Awesome stuff. Mom Humes, yes, I see you. And I know he's a very smart guy. So your your comment in terms of him being an honest student. I totally know that. My apologies. I really wasn't talking about the academics, but such as it is. I take all the licks you give me for that, because I know he's a very sharp young man as a whole.
And I also want to say something. You say I struggle in school. It's different because the school system now, it's lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And so for persons who may be struggling in school or say, oh, I don't have any BGCSEs, I can be open and honest and say, I don't even know how much BGCSEs I have.
Mm-hmm.
I took them, but I do not know the results because where my passion was, where I was going, that's what I focused on.
Right.
And you have to understand the academic part of it. There's anything you can learn online right now. There's a lot of opportunities. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you talked about those three loves that you had in terms of athletics, music, and the water. And so before we go to the break, we just want you to touch on that and say, why those loves? What drove you to those?
Music. My dad played the saxophone. Brother played the trumpet. So grew up in a musical family.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the piano and it was good. Music is the way of life. Like, music is universal. It's a language that everyone gets.
Mm-hmm.
It just reaches. Yeah. It reaches people. It touches people. Music.
Touch in your soul, and then
touch in your soul. So for me, music is a big part of my love, and still actively is.
Mm-hmm.
Artists who there's a few friends who are really good friends, and they're artists, and some of them are making really good moves, but it's taking time. It's taking time because of the industry of our culture towards Bahamian artists and Bahamian musicians.
Right.
So for me at the time, it was the best decision.
Awesome.
And it was new. I love new. You know, us Bahamians, we like new things.
Bling. Yeah, cool.
We like new things. It was a new industry, and it offered a lot of opportunity.
Great, awesome,
and experiences.
Yes, all of that right there. So you've been listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're here talking with Edvardo Humes on his experiences from Yellow Elder to the bridge, and how you can be following suit and have a lot of opportunities. After the break, we're going to talk about some of those opportunities and the like. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Who gon' stop me? I hoop with the best of them, swooped up the chest of them, dunked on a bunch, caught alley-oops on the rest of them. I got the lean on the J now, it really don't matter if we play in arenas or playgrounds. Stored around the back so it'll fly when I pass, just to avoid the block, go high off the glass. I'm killing them out there, they gon' have to bring caskets, that's all I hear after the baskets. But I ain't even warm up, and still pull from where it counts for 3 points and lead the form up. You must be insane if you give me the lane or perimeter. The crossover, sprain every limb on y'all. Never woulda, ever coulda. Thought I could come off the baseline and jump over 7 footers. Who gon' stop me? When I'm in the lane, I come to entertain. You know it's in the game, but who gon' stop me? Gonna get 5, I D up with 5. You know we get live.
Welcome back to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. As we discussed, if you're just tuning in, we've been discussing with Edvardo Humes about his journey from Yellow Elder to the bridge and in the Maritime Affairs arena, being captain, not captain, what's the title again? Captain, not captain.
No, I have my Bahamian captain's license, but
Right.
the saying is, if you do not have a boat and a crew, you're not considered a captain. So
right, so officer in charge, that's the word I was looking for. Officer in charge, yes. And so we talked a little about his history and so forth, and him being very disciplined and dedicated to being into these challenges and some of the opportunities that we are now about to speak of. And so before the break, as we mentioned, you were given this ultimatum and you had to choose, right? And so the decision to decide between these loves, how hard a decision was that?
It was, realistically looking back, I honestly can't recall how hard a decision it was, because of the many experiences and opportunities I have gained. It must have not been a hard one, because I enjoy where I am.
Right.
It must have not been a hard one. I don't regret. I wouldn't say it was a hard decision looking back now. No, it was the best decision for me.
Great. Awesome.
It is. Still is.
That's good, because when you find your purpose on your niche, that really allows you to maximize your potential.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to do those things when you're in alignment with the good one above. His perfect will and purpose for our lives. And so when we go there now we have this comment from Mrs. Lorraine McDonald. The comment seems small, but it says, are there any Bahamian female officers in charge?
Oh, yes, there is. You have Officer, may I? Could I?
Yes.
Yes, there are many female officers in charge on both sides, engine and deck.
Mm-hmm.
You have persons, Misty Vane, you have Christy Charlton, you have Ivana Seymour, deck department, you have Lauren, engineering, you have Shadia, engineering, you have Julie, engineering, females, you have...
You calling all these people first name, but you scared to call their last name, eh?
Juliana.
Okay, if you can't remember all the last names, that's fine. Yeah.
You have Kira, you have...
So how many Bahamians are in the system now?
You have many. You have quite a lot of female officers and engineers working around the world. You just recently, Shantae Pearson, among the first sets of cadets from the LJM Academy, that they started in the Bahamas. Pardon me?
Oh, Lower Bahamas Academy?
Yes. They started. They are recognized as well.
Okay.
And so you have a lot of young Bahamians, and both females and males in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a controversial question now, right? Because...
They ready for this?
Well, let me ask you the COVID one first then. Has COVID impacted any of your opportunities or the industry's opportunities?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, COVID has impacted the world. And for me now, when it comes to luxury, working on a yacht, depending on who your owner is, because now the maritime industry is so vast,
right?
Persons who may not be aware that luxury is going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the COVID situation or the COVID crisis hit, and they started to cut crew, luxury would have been the first option to be impacted heavily. So
Right.
a lot of crew members lose their jobs. A lot of persons around the world lose their jobs. But the yachting industry went down to skeleton crew. Not all yachts was affected, but the majority was. The world was standstill. It wasn't moving.
Right.
The Bahamas, from my personal experience, I was stuck. Didn't have a job over here. It was laid off. And the Bahamas borders was closed.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was in. So it's a roller coaster.
Right.
The whole world was affected by COVID.
Right. And so now we're starting to open back up and the like. And back in, I think it was April or late March last year, I would have written on Facebook or recommendations to some persons in tourism and the like, that I felt that whilst we were in lockdown mode, we had an opportunity to allow cruisers like your size boat or above to come in and they could come in with a special tariff that could also help our economy and also allow them to sit in place or the like and what have you. So my question is, now we have the scenario where they're talking about cruising between the islands of the Bahamas. Is that something that Bahamians could take advantage of?
Yes, of course. Once the training and you have the opportunity from the government point of view and the flag administration point of view, and the regulations are in place, opportunities for Bahamians can be great. Cruising through the Bahamas, cruising through the world, cruising through the Caribbean. 80%, I would say the majority of yachts that cruise in this region frequent the Bahamas. Frequent the Bahamas. The Bahamas is arguably the best waters, has the best waters in the world. They frequent the Bahamas.
And you've been pretty much all over so far.
Yes, and Bahamians, who knows the Bahamas better than Bahamians?
Yeah. As Edna says, only the sun covers the Bahamas better than them. So, so what kind of opportunities we talking about here, though? I mean, know that you went off and got your schooling and everything, and officer in charge level and stuff, but not everybody has to be at that level to benefit, correct?
Nope. As simple as, okay, so as vast as you can think, a cruise ship is a floating city. Everything that sustains a city on land is transferable to sea.
To the ship.
Let me see if I can make it much more understandable. For instance, electrical, marine, ETOs. You have training where you have ETOs, electrical technician officers or technical officers, and they are in charge for the electrical systems of a ship. Persons who do their, I guess, single phase or three phase at BTVI, they have the skills, they have the knowledge of how electricity works. They can save more, add more, take more courses, and become an ETO. Electrician on ships. Simple, okay. A different aspect. The guys that like to dive. You can clean the bottom of boats. The bottom of boats with your certification. Find out what you need. See, all of this is research. All of this requires the discipline, the dedication, and the determination, and persistence and perseverance. All of this, if you have a carpet cleaning company, you can offer carpet cleaning services on yachts. If you know carpentry on yachts. If you paint repairs, paint finish, learn the type of materials. Fishing. fishing is huge, sport fishing.
Right.
There's so many opportunities, so many opportunities. You just have to apply yourself and see what's in the market and adapt. Find your passion, find what you love.
Right. And be willing to travel and explore and experience. Yeah.
Yes, be willing to travel, explore, and experience.
That's awesome, man. Because I know when my son, when you met him, Devon, when they came back, whilst they were studying school, one of the swimmers, when he used to swim at the Barracuda Swim Club, Stuart's Cove, I can give them a plug there. They were looking at hiring him to be one of their divers and swimmers and the like. And that was big money. And that's for somebody not even with a college degree. So I could imagine from what you were talking about, the whole range could be huge money compared to what we do on land.
Huge. And with the engineering, so with the maritime industry, engineers, very important aspect of the maritime industry. Very important. You work your way up to a chief engineer, that's much more experience you running power plants. Any large building that has an engine or a system,
right?
You're good to go. It was as simple as the IT network on yachts and satellites and radars. All of these are specialties that the Bahamians can get into.
Awesome. Well, time is running fast, so we can talk about it. So question now, we have these opportunities. Everybody wants to be in our waters. And the rich who has these mega yachts and the like wants to come here. So
I don't blame them. We live in the Bahamas.
What do we have to do in order to accentuate that or to accelerate that process and that business? You have any visions or views on what you've seen or may have heard through association as to some of the challenges that some of the owners might have in sailing into the Bahamas that we would like to knock down those barriers for?
What
if
would
not,
be?
That's fine.
Pardon me?
No, I said if not, that's fine. Yeah.
No, you're asking. I just want to understand the question better.
Okay, so
what would owners have to do?
Yeah, in terms of coming into the Bahamas, sometimes people say that you have this challenge or that challenge and the like. So I'm just saying, in order to get it so that we have more of these ships and mega yachts and the like coming into Bahamas and patronizing the Bahamas services and being able to provide more opportunities for people who work in the arena, what is required for us to increase that? I know we're already at a high level, but I'm thinking our waters could accommodate more.
Development of the full Bahamas.
Of the whole Bahamas?
The full Bahamas.
Oh, the full, okay.
The Bahamas, if you look, is an archipelago that stretches over 700 islands and keys.
Yeah.
And anyone would know that it's a lot of the concentration is in just that same small Nassau. Yeah. Develop the Bahamas. If you sail to San Salvador, the waters are completely different from if you sail to Exuma, the deep blue rich. There's other parts of the Bahamas. If you sail far down south to make Warner, you would understand that that's a whole new different experience if you go up to the Abaco Keys.
Wow.
If you would expand the Bahamas, get the whole Bahamas and understand that each part of the Bahamas can be marketed and bring in revenue.
Right.
So as far as a lot of policies, a lot of laws, there's a lot of things that is lacking. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and I understand that these things take time. And so the only thing I can do is continue to work and continue to enhance, and me along with a few other colleagues that's in the industry. We're going to continue to put our best foot forward, and enhance the industry because we lived it.
Right.
A lot of
right.
persons who, as you would know, working from the ground up and then specializing, and then when you're at the top to make policy, is completely different.
Right.
You have your views
For sure.
from
For sure.
yeah. So
Yeah. I was just
that's what
curious.
we're working to change and enhance, not necessarily change, but just build from the foundation that's there and enhance the industry as best as possible.
Right. Awesome. All right. So we've now come to the sad part of the show when we almost got to say goodbye. But before we do our parting ways, then what we normally would do is we'd offer you the opportunity, if it's whatever you want to say to, I would say, the motoring public out there, but the boating public out there, or anybody in general, that you might want to say something to be able to either inspire them or to tell them what you'd like to see happen. But you get 2 minutes or so to say whatever you want to say to the public.
Ooh. Okay, I would just like to continue. I would just first like to thank God for allowing me to still be here to take part in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
The attack on my life has been serious within the last year, and I just have to give him thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just like to say thank him. I would thank him first, and I would just like to convey to the rest of the Bahamians or persons who are saying this: never be afraid to try. Never be afraid to fail, because failure is a result that you tried. And every time you hear no, just keep going back. One time you're gonna hear yes.
Mm-hmm.
My transition into the yachting industry was not an easy one. I just keep hearing no until I get my yes, and now I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything that persons or anything that may look unreachable, just understand that if you keep working towards it, one day you're gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
One day you're gonna get it.
Yes,
and always keep God at the center.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Edvardo Eddie Humes, we'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole team at Something to Think About, all three of us. And
Yes.
we wish you all of the best in your endeavors. We look forward for the market opening back up as we get more comfortable with living with the COVID being around, and you be able to soar to the heights that God has put you on this earth to do. Somebody like myself who has had a number of near imminent deaths in my life, I always say to God, keeping me here because there's something bigger that He wants me to do. And you, I always say you seem to have a lot of commonality in what has happened with you, what happened with me, or what happened with me is now happening to you. Anyway, it's however direction you want to put it. But you have some big things on the table for you that's coming. I'm convinced of that. Right? And you just stay the course, keep moving, and I'm sure that you would be able to achieve all of those things that you want as long as you keep, like you say, the good one as your compass.
Yes.
You will get there.
I also would like to say, for those who are looking for opportunities, like I said, you have the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Core program for your kids. It's a government program.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have an agency, Aquamarine Agency. They are a gateway to persons who would have already gained the necessary qualifications and studies, and they have opportunities. You have institutions like Shipmate. You have institutions like Lowell LJM Academy. You have institutions like Cadets. They are also approved. You have many different opportunities. You just have to seek and understand everything, the whole picture. Do your research. Once you conduct your research, find your passion and just set sail. Don't ever be afraid to fail. Don't never be afraid to fail.
Right. Well, we won't let you fail. But before we go, we have to try and add one more thing to the picture as we go. And so if I could find out how to get it to do. Let's see here. Boom. Let's try that. Does it work?
I have known Edvardo Humes since his first year in high school and have watched his development as a man of honor ever since. He is totally dedicated to whatever he undertakes, and I state without hesitation that Edvardo Humes is a fine example of what can be achieved through dedication, hard work, and integrity. Dudley Martinborough, Coordinator, Bahamas Maritime Cadet Corps, retired. Member, Board of Directors, Bahamas Maritime Authority.
Awesome. That's a big man there.
That's the reason.
Yes. Good. Well, like I said before, thank you kindly for joining us, and you're always welcome to come back when you get some new things you want to share with us and the Bahamas and the world.
Not a problem. Thank you.
And don't wait until you get your own 50, 100-foot yacht now, because you know. But we know that's coming too. So you've been listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We've been discussing from Yellow Weller to the bridge with Edvardo Humes. We ask you to pause, think about it with intentional thought, and consider where we go from here. We want you to also subscribe, like, follow, and share this video, particularly with teachers and educators, so that they can know how to help their children find avenues that they can come and become purposeful people and citizens of the Bahamas and the world in general. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Page Investment Limited and DomDev Enterprises, for their support. And all of you out there who want to support, you're always welcome to either hit us up on Facebook or email us. Both our contacts are shown on the Facebook page and so forth. So till next time, we ask you to be safe. Enjoy your evening. And thank you again, Edvardo.
You're welcome. Take care.
Join Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles as a friend and sponsor. Contact us at somethingtotink242@gmail.com or WhatsApp us at 242-424-0257.